better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. I care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. I care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light Reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break Reminder and Force Break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force Break activates to rest your eyes. Eye Care U. Safeguard your eyes.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another fantastic day of AMX Global Season 2. My name is Reed. I'm here with Weihan, who is joining here with Weihan, and it's good to have you here, Weihan. We've got GT4s on Circuit Zolder, and then we're going to be moving on to what is it? So it's LMP1s on Cota. So what do you think about what we have coming up today?
Well, I'll tell you something, we have two of the craziest tracks on the iRacing service, because Zolder is not an easy place to race. Neither is Cota, and of course with these GT4 cars that will come here with over to Zolder, I think it's going to be interesting because Zolder, of course, it's known to have a lot of chicanes, and with these GT4 cars, they're a little slower, a little easier to handle. I think it should be providing drivers a good experience racing here.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts, no short tracks. It's just going to be the full experience. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a look at the way that this season breaks down. Basically, we've got 3 tiers of races: free tier, paid tier 1, and paid tier 2. It's just based on the entry fee, and of course that scales with the prize pool. Put up $20 like we're going to see in our second race of the day. It's paid tier 2, and that means the prize pool gets even bigger, all the way up to $506. So $134 prize pool for our $5 races, and of course for races like the one we're about to watch, our free tier races. It says $30 on the screen, but actually we're running a promotion right now where we've doubled the prize pool for our free tier races, and that means that there's $60 on the line every single free tier race for the next 2 weeks or so. So a lot of money out there on the line. We're giving you even more of it every time you come out to race. And this will be the final race of this stream, but we've still got about half of the month of May left to go. And crucially enough, this race marks the halfway point for AMX Season 2. Got race 45 out of 90 coming your way today. So we're halfway through the season, Wei Han. Time flies when you're having fun.
Most definitely. So, having a look at the total earnings, the standings of the drivers. So, obviously, Caio Gaspar leads the tables with $1,069 total earnings. Definitely is making it big here at AMX. But we've also got various other drivers like Gaston Kohavi and Victor Miranda who have pretty much further up the table, along with some of the rest of the drivers as well. So, great to see all these.
Yeah, Laui Santi also kind of getting in on the action a little bit late. It's not like all of these racers have been participating in every single race all season long. So it's not like you can really rank them based on their total earnings because they've each participated in different races, different tiers, different days. So this is more of just a total look at what is possible. If you get in and race in AMX Season 2, we're halfway through the season, which means that in the second half of the season, you can do that too, if you are just as godlike as some of our other players. This is a representation of our new doubled point totals for our free tier races. You can see it on your screen right now. First place is 14 points, and each point is $1 USD. That means that if you also take the fastest lap, you can get up to 19 points, $19 in a free race. So it sounds pretty good to me. Sounds pretty good to you. You can head on over to amxraces.com and sign up anytime. You can actually still do that and join us during qualifiers if you're really fast at typing. Also, we've got a paid tier 2 race coming up later on. LMP1's on Circuit of the Americas. So plenty of time for you to get in here and race with us at amxrace.com. Here is a look at the free tier standings for the upcoming race. Caio Gaspar, Victor Miranda, Quarantine Guinness, the top 3, and then of course top 10 on your screen right there. A lot of money having been won already in Season 2, and of course just as much waiting for our players as the season continues. So a lot of very, very impressive racers so far. I think we're going to be seeing a few more of them today as we get into our first race, which will be on Circuit Zolder. Tell me a little bit about this track, Wei Han.
So often when you talk about racing in Belgium, you think of going to Spa, because obviously that's the most famous, one of the most famous tracks in all of motor racing, and especially in Belgium. But don't forget that there also exist other tracks such as Zolder. You know, it's kind of the lesser known racetrack in Belgium, although I guess quite similar in terms of difficulty here. So it's kind of, you know, as we mentioned, it's kind of like second fiddle to Spa, but I think with Zolder, it offers quite a lot of its own unique challenges. Of course, first being which there are a lot of chicanes around here, which have come as a result of changes to safety over the years around this track. And it has in fact taken the place of the Belgian Grand Prix during the 70s and 80s, so I think that would have alternated along with Spa as well over the years. And well, I think at least on the iRacing service, it's known to be one of the trickier places because there are plenty of places where you have to be braking, be careful with the way you handle the car. And I think with the GT4 cars here that the drivers are taking on, it will come to be quite a challenge for the races here.
Yeah, it is absolutely a very challenging track. We heard you like corners, so we gave you more corners in your corners. So it's very, very tight. You definitely have to be on that brake pedal and make sure that you can get back up to top speed. We're running GT4s today, Wei Han, so a little bit of the little brother of the other GT classes, but certainly still very, very popular. And what can you tell me about GT4s and what we're going to be seeing them do here on Zolder?
Yes, so certainly, as you just mentioned, GT4 being kind of like little brother to GT3, but they are quite different in the sense that GT4 cars are very much based on their production-going variants. They take a lot of components off the shelf in that sense. So, as opposed to GT3s, where we know them as aggressive track racing machines, these GT4 cars are probably much more scaled down, and you're not able to really push these cars as hard in terms of speed or taking them around the corners. But they do provide a lot of close racing action indeed. And specifically to this session, we've got quite a wide range of GT4 cars. We've got Aston Martins, Porsches, Mercedes GT4s, as well as BMWs as well. So we do have quite a variety of options and flavors for the drivers here. So I think, you know, when these car and track combinations were selected, it is in a position where it's quite ideal because over here at Zolder, it's not exactly a high-speed track, and with these GT4 cars that are kind of medium speed in comparison, you have an ideal perfect layout for racing here.
Yeah, these are the track day cars, right? So if you happen to have purchased a fast car and want to bring it out to the track, that's kind of the feeling you're going to get. You want to also drive it off the track and onto the road afterwards. And it is a very popular category, maybe not quite as popular as the Big Brother GT3s, but really going to be seeing, I think, a great track to showcase what the GT4 can do, because it's not really that flat out, 12,000 horsepower monster rocket ship like we've been seeing and will see a little bit later on today. This is going to be a little bit better, well suited for such a tight turn-based track, a lot of chicanes, a lot of, navigational skill required here as we head out onto Circuit Zolder. And of course, like you mentioned earlier, Weihan, when it comes to things like the Belgian Grand Prix, you're usually going to be talking about Spa-Francorchamps. But Zolder and its little brother, Nivelle, also has a lot of history behind them, sort of as where the Belgian Grand Prix began so many years ago, almost 80 years. This year, I want to say, things started out here on Zolder, so a very historical track as well.
Certainly, and the great thing about Zolder is it's also a place that has played host to quite a lot of other racing events, even endurance racing. So, of course, if you come here to do endurance racing, you are kind of in for a treat because you are going to be repeating this tricky layout lap after lap. A bit different compared to at Spa, but we've now progressed directly into qualifying. So we've kind of glossed over, glossed over the coverage of the practice session here. So I think we should be expecting that these drivers here, they will set qualifying lap times that are quite close to one another, as we have seen in previous sessions. So at this point, we are with Kyle Gaspar, who's previously set a purple first sector, but obviously someone else. A bit of contact with the grass there upon entry. So yeah, almost losing the car through the chicane there, but still carries on his car nonetheless. Purple second sector. Let's see if it will remain purple over the next moments as he takes on the third sectors. The thing with these chicanes is you have to ensure that you get your braking point right. You can't miss your braking points, or you'll miss the apex, and you have to do another qualifying lap here.
Yeah, this feels a little bit like my video game reference for the day. I only get one, guys, but I'm going to use it when I can. It's a little bit like a Dark Souls boss, right? Where you have to hit every single little break point, and if you don't, it really does impact your performance. There are so many skill checks when you head around Zolder. Every time you head up to a big corner, with the exception of things like Sternbachbock, it's going to have a little bit of a zigzag, not quite S's style, but you're going to get those Villeneuve. I don't know how you say that. Villeneuve? Villeneuve? Villeneuve. Okay, all right. I'm working on it. In case you guys couldn't tell, I'm not French, like basically half our office was at one point. So I'm doing my best here with my my unfortunate linguistic disabilities. So bear with me, please. Weihan, I know it's a struggle to listen to the sound of my voice, but I appreciate your sacrifice.
Well, we have Quarantine Guinea, who is from France, so perhaps we can ask him afterwards if he does come on. Yeah, so Guinea has set in a lap time, yeah.
That was all I had to say, Weihan. Go, take it away.
Yeah, so Guinea has a provisional pole lap time of 1:35.342, and I imagine that is fast because everyone else is at least 0.8 of a second behind, 1 second behind. Reed, we're just kind of speaking off air that sometimes when all these fast drivers race, you can just see how focused, how in the zone these drivers are, and I think that's kind of the reason why they're so fast. They know how to focus at every single moment that they have to. So we're now coming upon the midpoint of the qualifying session, and we should be expecting the rest of the drivers to kind of post in their qualifying lap times as they make their way through the final chicane. This seems to be the 7:18 of... Guinea, he's going to come around the start-finish line once again. Let's see what time he sets for himself, as Gaspar sets a 1:35.835, which puts him up to second.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of changes here over the course of qualifications. We're about halfway through. And just to give you guys a little bit of an, I guess, benchmark, right? If you're talking about real life, real racing for GT4's record set a couple years ago on Zolder in an Audi R8, I want to say the GT4 Evo. But anyway, about 136, right? So 135, 136 is kind of the range that you should be expecting to see here, and that's exactly represented. It is iRacing, so you can be a little bit bolder, right? You don't have to worry about winding up in the hospital if you take some risky chicanes like that one. Okay, getting a little bit of air up in here, but the idea is that still very, very fast times, and it should be a very competitive race. We do have some of the best performing racers in our league so far. Guys like Quarantine Guinness, guys like Victor Miranda also there sitting with a cool 7.7K I rating, 8.8 for Quarantine Guinness. So these are actually the guys. These are the drivers that you absolutely have to keep an eye on because they are so skilled and they've put up so many iconic performances this season. And it's going to be great to watch them race here on Zolder in these GT4s against each other in what is a fairly decent pack of cars, about 8 racers for today's races. Everybody gets out there. By everybody, I mean Diego Villarreal, because he hates qualifying a lot. But currently, he's in good company, although we did just see Victor Miranda set a 1:35.4, popping way up from no time up to second place, displacing Manuel Scoli, one of our newcomers. Also nice to see that Quarantine Guinness has some fans out there currently cheering for him.
Well, so nice. Yeah, so I think just for reference. Yeah, I was just gonna say, just for reference, if your I rating is 6,000 and above, you are within the top 1% of iRacers. So we definitely have like the iRacers from the pointiest end of all of the iRacing service here in the AMX session. So I think that's definitely a good sign that we are kind of getting the best of the best drivers in the world in some ways. So I think most drivers have posted their qualifying lap times, as you mentioned, with the exception of our driver Diego Villarreal, who's not posted a lap time, but everyone is within 1.5 seconds of one another. Most drivers are within the 1:35, so we should be having drivers who are very closely aligned with one another. So certainly great stuff indeed. And who's this we're riding with? Fabio Zampellini. Yeah, he's a driver with some of the most interesting paint schemes that we've seen in a couple of races previously, and he's now going to come upon the final chicane as well here at Zolder. And let's see what time he sets down as he crosses the line.
Coming around, it's a 1:35 for Victor Miranda. Can't quite get up there, shave that down to the 1:35.1 that Quarantine Guinness has, but we're not necessarily just sorting it by I rating. These guys are all within tenths of seconds of each other. And you can't just multiply that times 10 or 12 to get the total lap time for today. It is going to take a little bit more than that, especially because these are group qualifiers, so you can put a little bit of extra space in between everybody. And you don't have to actually get out there and you'll compete with like a full start right off the bat. Very, very different. So also want to see a little bit more dynamic racing as these drivers adjust to, okay, time to wake up, time to get out here onto Zolder and figure out what we're doing. Man, so many fans of Fabio Zampellini. These guys are what I would call fickle fans. They'll be fans of anybody. So if they want to be fans of me, that's all I'm saying. There's a shout out waiting for them. And we talk about racer I rating, Weihan. We never talk about caster I rating, okay? Because I feel like that's the more important stat, because the racers win and lose, but they're not as cool as.
Reed, you'll definitely be a 6K, easy 6K, no questions, man.
Oh, easy. I'm on that pointy end of casters. Which pointy end? Well, we're not going to tell you, but one of them.
Yeah, well, good that these drivers are getting a lot of fanfare. Definitely great. I hope every driver gets some fanfare as well, because you definitely need a lot of that for when you're doing a race here. So checker flag is in the air for the qualifying session, and I think we are seeing drivers kind of getting, well, they're on their final lap. So this lap that they set here, once they cross the line, that will be their last lap. So we're with Guinea now, so his time to be, well, he's already in provisional pole position, so let's see if he'll have the chance to best his previous lap time. So he will come across the start-finish line. Is he going to be faster than he previously was? I would appear not, so...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he does!
Okay, yeah.
135.063, wow.
That's incredible. This is like, we have polarizing opposites, right? Diego Villarreal is not setting any qualifying time, and Corentin Guinez is already in provisional pole, and then he goes back and doubles up, getting a 135.0. Like that's incredible. And so you really see the dedication. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he is the most statistically likely player to win when he races. So I think you can see a little bit of why that may be.
Yeah, drifting around. I think he's saying merci beaucoup to all the to all the spectators watching him. Yeah, dings up his car quite a fair bit, but it's, well, we're going to end qualifying and we'll proceed to the race in a couple of moments' time.
Now this is the qualifying purgatory. We get to stay here for the rest of the race. Now finally exiting out, and this is going to be a look at what your qualifying results like appearing on your screen right now. Corentin Guinez with that very impressive 135.0. Really the time to beat today, next to Victor Miranda, Manuel Scoli, Caio Gaspar, Jackson Resenge, Fabio Zamperlini, Josh Irwin, and Diego Villarreal. I'm just kind of enjoying our chilled out groove today.
Yes.
Weihan, not just the music, but also the dulcet tones of our casting conveyance. It's going to be a great day. A little bit early out here, but should be a good way to kind of get ourselves started, get back into what is one of our final iRacing days of the week. We've got today and tomorrow. And then we're taking a little bit of a break before getting into one of our, the second half of our iRacing season here on AMX. And already lining up on the grid with our Porsche pace car, ready to get us started with our time here on Zolder.
Yep, so great camera shots of the cars occupying the grid, so it definitely will be a rolling start. And yeah, well, look at all the paint schemes, as always. Very, very nice to see here. I think Guinea has the most interesting paint scheme with a lot of sponsor logos, but other plenty interesting ones as well. So yeah, drivers are off the line, and we have the Porsche safety car as usual. So you know that just kind of adds one more Porsche to the grid here, because the only other Porsches are driven by Guinea, as well as what would appear to be Resende and Perwin. So these three drivers on the Porsche 718 GT4s. And we've got a good mix of manufacturers as well, but I think quite notably a lack of, I guess, the McLarens here. We don't really see that here.
Yeah, I mean, beyond GT4s being homologated and kind of balance of power, they should be relatively the same for performance, but everybody has their preference as far as how the cars handle it. We do have that diversity today. So we're going to take a quick lap around Zolder and get up to speed, get all of our tires spinning as fast as it can before we get into our first of quite a few laps here. But I guess for me, really, I'm going to be picking, drivers to watch. I really want to see how Manuel Scoli does. He is one of our newer racers, as he did just join a few, maybe last week, I want to say. So it'll be exciting to see how he does here. We did see the prize standings earlier, and he's definitely going to be climbing up those, I would say. Still kind of proving himself as far as our pack of racers go. It's not just if you're good, it's about your competition too. How do you look compared to the rest of the field? And as we near the halfway point, we are about ready to get this pace car out of there and actually start the race, which is going to be a really exciting time. You can see Team Guinness up there at the front of the pack, ready to lead the way as we head around towards one of our final curves, getting ready to start.
So did see a bit of jostling there. I think even during the pace lap, drivers do come into contact with each other. We're coming upon this right-hander hairpin, which is not exactly an easy corner to handle in the race, because the thing with Zolder is that some of the corners are not exactly on camber, so you definitely have to brake ahead of time to prevent yourself from carrying too much speed over the corners. So as I come upon this, well, I don't know how many straights there are here, but this is kind of the backstretch. The safety car will peel in, will head straight into the pits, and the field will be led by Cota as he leads the field for the start of the race. It is going to be green flag in the air any moment now. And as that green flag happens, Guinea will lead the field with Manuel Scully, who's made a move up to second place there. Victor Miranda slots in into third with the rest of the drivers. That's Resende, who's trying to perhaps think of a move along the outside. Now that's Miranda with a Porsche of Resende quite close behind indeed. Guinea continues to lead the field into turns 1 and 2. With Scully not far behind indeed. A bit of too wide between Perwin and Gaspar as they round off turn 3 here. I think otherwise it's been a great start, and Guinea continues to lead with Scully and Miranda forming a slight bit of a breakaway up front.
Yeah, Guinea is so good at establishing that dominance at the front of the pack, but as you can see, we still have a very, very close race for us today. The distance is just absolutely microscopic as we come around a little bit of a chicane there. And what I want to watch right now is Victor Miranda. He's known to make these early breaks, not content to just stay in the middle of the pack. We're on board with Zamperlini right now as he brings up kind of the rear, but still absolutely in contention. It's just going to take some time to separate the field a little bit. And we haven't really even completed a lap of actual race time yet. We have yet to see whether or not our drivers can really maintain that consistency in these 12 laps around Circuit Zolder. So it takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of focus. We were checking out Quarantine Guinness the other day, I say the other day, I mean mere moments ago. And this guy's absolutely in the zone, completely laser focused on victory. And it's gonna be hard to match that level of focus, which is almost just as important as your overall racing ability, right? Can you do that, but do it over and over again as we start lap 2?
Yep, so here at Zolder, you kind of have limited overtaking opportunities, so it might serve to Guinness' benefit if he's able to defend his position well. As Scully goes along the outside of Miranda, of course that was a potential overtaking opportunity, but not until they kind of complete these corners. So that is Miranda along the inside, switch lines, and he's going to go for an overtaking move along the inside of Scully as they head upon turn 4, and Miranda makes that move work. So he's kind of retaken his second position, which he has started from. And Scully's coming under quite a fair bit of pressure from Resende, who's going quite aggressive here along the straight before the client chicane here. Went on the brakes there, and he continues to trail Scully by a minimum margin as he continues around the rest of the track here. This gradual left-hander before coming upon the chicane, this is quite a difficult corner because you are kind of braking as you're turning, and that's always a difficult thing for the drivers to do. Resende continues to sit in 4th position as he leads Gaspar upon the second half here at Zolder.
Yeah, coming through Boulderberg Bach, right? The lower corner towards the final section of Zolder, in through what I guess you could consider a straightaway. It's about the straightest straightaway you get because it is not a very lengthy track, just a lot of turns. So being the field, it has relatively separated itself. You got about 1 second difference between everyone except Jackson Resende right behind Manuel Scully is the closest. We've got that battle for third as we hop on board with Scully, and this is going to be where most of the action is. So it looks like we already have what could be an attempt here by Jackson Resende, looking to come around the outside, now inside as we turn around. Is he going to be able to make this overtake happen? He is speeding up, but he doesn't have the draft to make it all the way around the outside, or does he? And there he is, getting a little bit of a bump, and he's going to send Gaspar off to the side. Scully drops back. Gaspar now climbing up past Scully, past Resende, past, actually no, dropping back down. This is an absolutely intense third lap of the race, Wei-Han.
Oh, it certainly is. So you can see that the Aston Martin machine of Scully did go a bit aggressive with the overtaking move around the first sector, but they continue on. All the drivers are kind of back into single file, and well, as a result of that, we kind of have a shuffle of positions in some ways. Gaspar is in fourth, Vicente has gone up to third, and we're now on the. This sounds like the Porsche machine, I think, of Gaspar that he's driving. If I'm not wrong. So Gaspar is kind of held his position well, while Scully lost 2 positions where he started from. So that is a little unfortunate. Now we're down with Zamperlini in his Aston Martin. You can. Well, one thing great about this field is that this diversity of car manufacturers does mean that you get to enjoy kind of different sounds and the different sights that a typical GT4 race field will bring. I will have to say though, these GT4 cars that the drivers are taking on here, the BMWs are not exactly easy to handle. So I think that's the reason why we only see 1 or 2 BMWs being raced here in this race, because it does kind of bring a lot of quite a fair bit of understeer the last time I tried it. With the Porsches and I would suppose the Aston Martins, those are relatively easier to handle, and that's probably why we see more of that here at Zolder. So Gaspar continues to sit in fourth, and he has quite a tough job of defending his position at this point.
Yeah, the middle of the pack is absolutely intense. Guys like Zamperlini really kind of nipping at the heels of Scully, Gaspar, trying to get all the way up to maybe even third, as it is very, very compacted. We're on board with Gaspar right now, who does still have to check out his rearview mirror a little bit, because Scully, Zamperlini right behind him on his heels, looking for any opportunity. We're less than halfway through the race, which means there's plenty of time for everyone's kind of fates to change here. We did see a 1:35 set by Corentin Guinness up there at the top, so he's already reaching times comparable to his fastest lap in qualifiers. And if you can put that up during the actual race, that is very, very commendable. Although it is going to take a little bit of extra effort from guys working back in practice, they can really get towards that the times we know they're capable of in qualifiers, but haven't really shown here on the track today. Zamperlini closing the distance there in the back as he, Scully, and Gaspar continuing to keep this race as close as possible, coming through our 6th lap, or 5th lap, nearing that halfway point. Still a lot of race left to go for guys like Gaspar, Scully, Zamperlini. They are going to have to stay on the ball 100% of the time, as now you can see Zamperlini kind of creeping up Scully's rearview mirror.
On the ball indeed, so notable mention to Guinea, who's formed a huge breakaway from the rest of the field. He is 1.5 seconds ahead of everyone else, but and likewise Miranda is probably 4-ish seconds ahead of the rest of the field here. But of course that does mean that the center of action is at the mid pack, which is what we're exactly looking at here. So this multi-way battle is being led by Vicente, who's up in third, and at this point, it is kind of like a 4-way battle for third position. You can also look at it as a battle for fourth position, which is currently held by Gaspar. So the drivers continue to take on some of the more tricky sections of Zolder circuit here. And to take on these sections, we can see that they are kind of starting to get spaced out quite a bit. Because one of the things that you'll notice here as you race at Zolder is that it kind of feels a bit like a street circuit, albeit with the walls slightly spaced further apart, so not exactly as aggressive in that regard. Continuing with Resende, we're with Resende at this point, observing the rest of the field from Gaspar onwards as he tries to defend his third position.
Yeah, I really feel for Zenje right now. He has the hardest job of anyone out there on the track. While all their jobs are difficult, you're starting to see everyone just speed up faster and faster and faster. You're seeing 135 is spent by almost everyone except for guys like Josh Perwin and Villarreal, kind of solidifying their spot at the back of the pack. But even still, we haven't seen a lot of contacts yet over the course of this race. It's been very sort of calm, demeanor, a little bit of a more passive race style, but it still could heat up at any moment, given how closely packed that middle of the pack are. Essentially, Gaspar, Scully, Zamperlini, all looking to change their stars. The podium is still within sight or all of them. Resenge leads the way. We're seeing what it looks like for him in his rear view. He has a lot of challengers trying to take that podium spot away.
Oh yeah, plenty of challenges indeed, and at this point we do see a sector-by-sector comparison of lap times between both drivers. So, well, of course, it would seem that Gaspar and Scully would have posted in the relatively faster lap times than Resende over the throughout this lap. But of course, the gaps will kind of maintain itself as they take on the remainder of this race. So we have come to the halfway point. And I think at this point, drivers are kind of more solidified with regard to the positions that they occupy at this point. Although with that said, plenty of overtaking opportunities still possible. There are plenty of position changes still possible because of the fact that the drivers are so close together. So Resende continues to lead Gaspar with them close together. So we would have a replay of Scully that will come upon in the next couple of moments. So this is Scully who made the overtaking move on the Aston Martin of, I think, Fabio Zampellini. So you can see that Scully did unfortunately knock Zampellini off his racing line a little bit. And that kind of sent both of them going a slight bit wide along the exit of that would appear to be turn 4. But no dramas nonetheless. The drivers are still kind of close with one another. No retirements in that regard.
Such a sick moment of this race. I think it's just going to keep happening if you continue to look at how close the middle of the pack is right now. I mean, the very narrow track. So as we get back to live, we'll be checking out exactly what has changed. And while things may have separated just a little bit, it is still just as intense as it was during the start of the race, like we just saw on our screen there. Coming around these corners, it is absolutely bumper to bumper. And as maybe we see guys like Guinness and Victor Miranda establish an even more solidified lead up at the top. The same thing's happening back in the bottom. This is the perfect, normalized distribution curve with most of the action happening there in the middle. Now, hopping on board with Caio Gaspar. This is a guy that we've seen do incredible things, especially when the pressure is on. Towards the end of the race, we've seen him more so than almost any other racer be able to improve his standings, never giving up, never taking complacent approach to just get that top 4, get that average placement. He absolutely can contend with the very best, and he is only a half a second off of Jackson Resenge, who is right in front of him. So absolutely somebody to watch there. Inez, one of the only times we get to see this guy on our screen because he's way up there. Look at that focus, the dedication, the commitment, the passion, the drive in his eyes, Wayhan. Is that what you look like when you wake up in the morning?
No, nowhere close. I probably like my eyes are still closed when I walk off my bed. But look, I'm just going to do a quick mention of that award that Guinness has on his tabletop. So I think that is the series champion of the WTCS series, one of the popular racing leagues, World Touring Car Series, I think. So I think he was a champion one of the couple of seasons ago, and it's definitely great to see a championship winning driver racing with us here at AMX, and of course a championship winning driver all the way up top at the race lead at this point, 4.5 seconds ahead of Victor Miranda, which is effectively 4.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah, really impressive to see kind of the pedigree of what guys like Quarantine Guinness can accomplish. And really, that is one of the reasons he came out here to it provides you with kind of a unique challenge compared to a lot of other circuits, right? A lot of times you'll be racing only oval tracks, only NASCAR, only GT4s, only GT3s, something like that. But for here, we really do like to mix it up, right? There's a lot of money on the line, but it is in unique combinations of cars and tracks, and that can be really challenging, especially for newer racers. But you're seeing some very, very experienced racers up there that 6, 7, 8, 9K I rating, guys like Quarantine Guinness. Absolutely impressive to see what he's been able to accomplish in his career, and also here in AMX Season 2. Well ahead of the pack, 4 seconds up on Victor Miranda, and there are those I ratings popping up already. 8.8, 7.7, 5, 6, 7. It's the upper echelons for sure of iRacing talent out here trying to do their very best to distance themselves, get themselves on that podium. And that's sort of what we're seeing right now. Inez Miranda really established up there at the top. But one mistake is all it takes to reset things in ways you would never imagine, especially when you think of guys like Io Gaspar, who's still nipping at Resende's heels, trying to get on that podium.
Yeah, so this is the final of the podium position, something that something that's important for, well, oftentimes you want to be on the podium. So I think that's something that's being held by Resende at this point, but Gaspar definitely wants it as well. So I guess the battling here is definitely the one that's shaping up to be a more intense one, but at this point it is going to be a battle for third with 0.6 of a second sitting behind the driver. So we are down to the final 2 laps of racing here at Circuit Zolder. And the competition is just going to spice up even more between the drivers of the 99 and 89 machines here, taking 3rd and 4th position. But oh, someone's gone out wide a little bit. That's the Porsche of, I think, Resende, who's kind of gone out wide, and but he continues to hold his cool. He continues to hold on to his position, but he's reduced that gap, that advantage of time that he has ahead of Gaspar by 0.3 of a second. So both drivers are now very close together indeed. Would we see an overtaking move for the final of the podium positions within that next 1.5 laps? That will be seen as the drivers take on the remainder of this race.
Yeah, also have to really keep an eye on the tires, right? I mean, these are more like production models, so it's not as big as if you're wearing, slicks or something. But the idea is that moments like that can absolutely change your fate in the race. Resende Gaspar is really the battle to watch right now, that battle for third that you see highlighted on your screen. And one of the reasons is that Gaspar continuing to keep it close. Really feels like he is looking for that final opportunity as we head into the white flag coming up in just about one more lap. So it's in everyone's mind. We are coming down to the end of the race. How am I going to make the move, right? For Gaspar, he's looking for it. And I'm not really as familiar with Zolder as maybe other tracks. So where do you think another big wide turn, and not exactly what you want to see from Resende keeps taking these and heading way off into the dirt. And you have to know Gaspar is watching this, closing the gap to less than 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Resende having a bit of difficulties getting on top of his car. So, it's gone an off track. Is that going to open the door for Gaspar to kind of make his overtaking move? So that is Gaspar, who's gone along the outside of Resende for 3rd position as they go too wide into that chicane. Great stuff indeed. And Gaspar indeed takes 3rd position at 2 laps to go from Resende. And well, that was a slick overtaking move indeed. But Resende has to hold on to this. He's trying to go for an overtaking move, almost going bumper to bumper there as they make their way through Jules Villeneuve chicane. Coming upon this double apex right-hander here as well. I think we do see that Gaspar has settled into his newfound 3rd position, and he'll continue to hold on to this over the next couple of moments.
Manuel Soli also getting within a second there behind, but really the action here is as it has always been in that battle for third. As I think it is about to start the white flag here up at the top as we head back through, and there it is right on schedule. Miranda coming in behind him, just about 6 seconds. Gaspar right behind that, but absolutely not intended to stay in that full spot is Resende. He's absolutely looking to come back, but a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes. Coming a little bit wide on these curves allowed that insane chicane overtake. Something about in the brain, I don't know. That was a really amazing job there by Gaspar to claim that 3rd place spot, but can he hold on? We have one final lap left to race, Wei-Han, and as our drivers come around the corner and get into that straightaway before the Klein chicane, this is where it is going to have to happen.
Yeah, so final opportunities for Resende to retake his 3rd position. So if he wants that, he has to make it count. Are we going to see some drag race down this curved stretch here? This gradual left-hander. No, Resende continues to sit in the slipstream of Gaspar, so definitely sitting in the slipstream indeed, going very close once again. I noticed that these drivers can go really aggressive over the curves. With these like tin top cars, you won't really have much problems, because if you race here with open wheelers, you'll have to be very careful. with the way you take the chicane. So Gaspar continues to lead Resende once again, and that is Scully, who is in 6th in the background. He might want a slice of this pie. So it is definitely this white flag, so that we're down to the final 3 corners here. 2 corners indeed await the drivers. So it will be Cota who takes the race win ahead, as well as Miranda, who is further up ahead, who will take the checker flag in 2nd. But the battle here goes on. The battle rages for 3rd position. Gaspar continues to lead Resende down the main stretch, and it will be Gaspar who takes 3rd position and Resende down to 4th. Well, did hit the wall a little bit there, but Manuel Scully comes home in 5th with Zampellini in 6th. So what a spicy battle for 3rd, and the outcome has spoken for itself. Villarreal will come around the start-finish line with in 7th position with Perwin. I think he will round out your result of 8 drivers here. That's a nice paint scheme. He's using the Excel team paint scheme that of course is a paint scheme that of the team that he's in, and yeah, great stuff. He rounds out your driver of 8 here at Zolder today.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened to Josh Perwin. He was holding steady at 6th and 7th, and then dropped back to 8th there at towards the latter half of the race. But still, really impressive driving. We got a chance to see just sort of the focus and the setup, the face of Corentin Guinez out there. And Victor Miranda, a guy that I absolutely said was going to be one of our drivers to watch. One of the highest win rate drivers in AMX Season 2 so far, and it really is just the top 3 that you can expect from almost every single race. Corentin Guinez, Victor Miranda, and Caio Gaspar on the podium for our time here at Zolder. Jackson Reseche, Manuel Scully, Fabio Zamperlini, Diego Villarreal, and Josh Perwin down under there at the bottom of the standings. But because we have doubled our prize money, and this is a 3-tier race, that means that everybody here is making money. And because we've doubled that, I believe that makes it 19. Only it's $19 for Corentin Guinez, way up there at the top. So very exciting to see so much talent, so much ability showcased here on Zolder. Speaking of being way up there, what do you have to say about your expectations going into this race? How do you think about the way that it played out, Weihan?
Well, I think racing here at Zolder would oftentimes it's one of those spaces where you just have to get over with racing there, because it's not exactly the most flowing of racetracks. But the drivers handled Zolder exceptionally well here today. We've seen some close overtaking moves here. We've seen a bit of jostling, but all of it was I think it was still fine. No major incidents and stuff like that. And I think that was pretty much the outcome that all of us would have expected for the drivers coming here, and it was definitely some great stuff to see indeed.
Great stuff indeed. That's going to do it for our first race of the day. We're going to be taking about a 30-minute break, and then we'll be coming back for LMP1s on Circuit of the Americas. So don't go anywhere. In the meantime, you too can join us out here at AMX Season 2 and get your share of over $16,000 in prizing by heading on over to amxrace.com, signing up for a race at any time. We've got half the season left to play, 45 more races in the bag, and so excited to see not only how those transpires, but also excited to see everyone out there come and join us at amxrace.com. We'll be back in about 30 minutes for LMP1s on Circuit of the Americas, so don't go anywhere.
Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and Eye Care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye Care U. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an Eye Care monitor and Eye Care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye Care U. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light Reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break Reminder and Force Break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force Break activates to rest your eyes. Eye Care You. Safeguard your eyes.
And welcome back to AMX Season 2. My name's Reed. I'm with Wei-Han. I get it wrong every time. Over there. I'm just going to turn this way and look whenever I address you. How's it going?
Yes.
Anyway, we're back. Our final race of the day is LMP1s on Circuit of the Americas. So we're heading back to my hometown, my home state. Somewhere in there. Austin, Texas for Cota. It's going to be a really, really exciting, interesting track. The home of F1 in America, and it's going to be really exciting to see some LMP1s race out on the stars and stripes, and kind of a little bit of a different setup than our first race of the day with those GT4s.
So let's have a look at the overview of the season.
Perfectly coordinated.
So,
good job.
So it does appear that we are now indeed within the paid tier 2 of the series. So well, that means that although the entry fee for the races here is higher, the prize pool per race is much higher for drivers. So you will get like what, $5, $5 USD per point that you earn in this series. So certainly, definitely great stuff for the drivers who are in here for the big bucks. And it is definitely open to all drivers who wish to enter.
Right, and keep in mind, even though our free tier races say that they are free, the prize pool is normally only about $30. But for a limited time only, perfectly timed with our next slide, the two times prize promotion boost. For the next 2 weeks, we are giving you double the amount of money to win, and we're making it even more accessible than ever. That means that in the top 10, you will actually still win a lot of money. You're also going to get money for the fastest lap, $5 extra. So you can pay nothing, enter a free race, and come away with as much as $19. So really stepping that up, really cool promotion here. So you want to win twice as much money, you can head over to amxrace.com twice as quickly and sign up and join us out here on tracks like Cota and win as much money as these guys. Guys like Kyle Vinicius, Gaspar up there at over $1,000 in earnings over the first half of this season. And obviously an average of $31 per race, but that does include paid tier 1 and paid tier 3 as well. He's been out here 35 of our first 45 races, and as we enter now the 46th race, the second half of the season is well underway, and you can look at the points for our paid tier 2 race coming up. It is $20 to enter, but look at the points. As long as you place 8th or higher, you win your money back plus $5 just for participating. So you can think of it like a $15 race, and if you do that, then you can place in the top 10. You're still getting out there, you're still making that money, and especially if you are extremely good, like many of our racers are. First place is 100 points. $100 is a lot of money for getting out there and being godlike at iRacing. Right, Weihan?
Yes, godlike indeed. The drivers we've seen some of the drivers racing very quickly previously. So, of course, the paid tier 2 standings, specifically to the driver standings within this paid tier 2 series. So, Kyle Gaspar likewise leads tables with $819 of earnings, so along with Fabio Zampini and Victor Miranda within the top 3. So definitely these drivers are making it big within this tier 2 series, and continue to make it big here at Cota as they take on the track later on.
And here is
so we are coming upon
anyway on we gotta get this. Okay, whoever has the talking conch has to raise it above his head, and that's the only person that's allowed to talk, okay?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to hand the talking conch to you, and now it's your turn, okay?
Awesome. Sorry about that, Reed. So yeah, we are coming upon to Circuit of the Americas, which we have visited a couple of weeks ago during the first couple of days of AMX racing. So of course, here at Circuit of the Americas, it's kind of one of the biggest racetracks in the Formula 1 calendar. Definitely it has seen a lot of exciting racing in Formula 1 racing, and in some ways, unlike many of the tracks that we would associate with in North America with kind of flowing layout, so to speak, over here it's a very technical racetrack, and it's also quite new in the motorsport world. It's only been existing for just over 10 years in motorsports, but already within this short span of 10 years, it's seen quite a lot of world-class racing action from Formula 1 to the WEC, and they'll continue to play host to great racing action with the drivers here with the LMP1 cars. So the car in choice, the car that's being used here, the Porsche 919 LMP1 hybrids, these were used back in 2016 in the World Endurance Championship. And although they are currently a retired specification of car, it is still existing on the iRacing service, and these drivers are still going to give these cars a run for their money as they take on the racing action. And we will certainly expect drivers to push these cars hard, because of course these cars are not easy to handle as opposed to the GT4 cars earlier on that we've seen, Reed.
Right, and these are LMP1s, like you mentioned, Weihan. So, whereas back in the day, yeah, LMP1s did not feature any of the like amateur level competition drivers. For LMP2s, sort of the more modern ones, crews like 2-3 people include one of the more amateur level drivers, so it makes it a little bit more accessible. And that's not even to talk about the difference in car specifications also. So it's kind of cool to take a little bit of a blast of the past here out on what is one of the most modern raceways out there, the circuit of the Americas, absolutely state of the art as far as it comes to modern racing competition. Reminds me a little bit of a Dorito that has like a bite taken out of the top of it. It's very, very acute angled corners. And we are coming out here into Cota at the conclusion of our practice laps here. So practice is an hour and a half, 80 minutes of practice. And then we get into our qualifying laps. Our qualifying takes about 10 minutes, give or take, because it is group qualifiers, and that lets us kind of race as much as you would like, however you would like, however you want to set up your fastest lap time. Do what you got to do, and then let it rip. Because I think most of the time we see players really set their fastest laps. They get maybe 2 or 3 really, really good runs in that 10-minute spot. But if you time it correctly, you can actually get that extra run right in after the 10-minute expires. So really cool to see what was kind of, I remember the first time I saw MP cars, they reminded me a little bit of the Batmobile, which just kind of fit like the world's biggest headlights on the front, because that makes the car go faster, right?
Yeah, well, certainly because these endurance cars do race day and night. You need as big of headlights as possible, as powerful of headlights as possible to kind of illuminate the track, because not all racetracks are premium like what you see here at Circuit of the Americas. A lot of places that you do race that they do not have floodlights, so you kind of have to rely on the headlights to make your way around the track at night. Already the drivers are kind of jostling quite a fair bit as they head into, well, I imagine they'll head into qualifying quite soon, these drivers. Well, they probably are already in qualifying. So I think I remember vividly, a couple of weeks ago, the exact same race that we've covered, although with that one being the free tier. We've kind of seen that racing these machines here, the thing with racing these LMP1 cars is that it's quite a complicated car to handle. It's kind of comparable to the Formula 1 cars, where you have a lot of, you're not just driving the car, you're also managing the hybrid, the electrical power delivery system, and that alone kind of alters the way you handle the kind of the strategies that you require to handle this car. So I think always if you're racing these LMP1 cars, as this driver makes the corner beautifully around turn 1, it's always another challenge when you see drivers take on the LMP1, because it is fast, and part of what makes these cars fast is the technology behind it.
Yeah, also LMP1's incredibly expensive to develop and maintain, so a little bit prohibitive in that regard. So unfortunately, we will not be seeing any of these LMP1's LMH cars out there anymore, but still really cool to get a chance to watch them here, because we don't have to pay to maintain these. They're not real Weihan. They can't hurt us. They're just going to be out here showcasing what looks to be a field of about 6 racers for this race. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was right. And so it's just kind of iconic to see them take their trip around the Circuit des Americas. Really cool corners to turn up on your screen. And wow, the fastest results ever. Which is faster, Weihan? Our racers or the duration of time we got to see those standings?
I'll tell you, the races are definitely much faster than that duration, man. These drivers are so good, they'll be so fast.
Well, we're 3 minutes into qualifying already, Weihan, and that means that we are getting a chance to see sort of the best representation of what these racers have to offer. And actually, that angle right there gave you a look at one of the most iconic features of Circuit of the Americas. And that is not necessarily even the shape of the track. It is the elevation, the dips, right? Coming up through the starting line, you are really taking a big zoom down into a little bit of a pit, and then you have to zoom right on up out of it. You a little bit of that sort of All Rouge feel where you're coming up and you got to take a big turn right afterwards. So really cool to see a lot of the dynamic aspects of Circuit of the Americas, not just the very tight angle turns, but also you get your big straightaways, you get your chicane heavy section. Really, really exciting to see not only the track, but also some of our previously mentioned incredibly talented racers. We have Victor Miranda, Kyle Gaspar, Fabio Zamperlini, Mende Real, and Josh Kerwin. They're at the bottom on an outlap, so interesting to see what the times look like here for our racers, because when it comes to LMP1s, we're looking at about a 147 when it comes to real life, and we're already seeing that being bested by guys at the top of the standings like Victor Miranda setting a 145 already.
Oh, definitely fast lap time indeed, as that's an LMP1 car that's kind of gone off track. So, again, one of the challenges that comes with racing at Cota is that yes, it is impossible to crash here unless your wheel disconnects while you drive. But you will run the chance of running off track quite a lot because the corners are relatively, you've got a lot of corners with acute angles, and sometimes it's easy to misjudge the apex, and you oftentimes find yourself barreling out wide. Victor Miranda will come across the start-finish line with a new lap time of 1:43.969, so he continues to sit in pole position. Wow. Certainly very fast lap time indeed, very fast, especially at a long track like Cota.
Yeah, just for comparison, right? One of the only cars that you can say are consistently faster than LMP1s are Formula 1s. And if you're racing an F1 car here, looks like the most recent record was Charles Leclerc, who set a 1:36 time in an F1 car. And now you're here in LMP1s, and you're already kind of getting close, right? 1:43 is not that far away. So very, very quick times here set by racers at the top of the standings. Victor Miranda and Kyle Gaspar getting dangerously close to that F1 zone.
Oh yeah, absolutely right indeed. Of course, for a fact, right, that these LMP1 cars were built in compliance with rules set out by the ACO, which run the WEC series, and already you have lap times that are almost as fast as within a significant margin, but still almost as fast as Formula 1 cars. So you can just kind of imagine for yourself that if these LMP1 cars were developed without those regulations in place, it could well be faster than Formula 1 cars, as has been the case with the 919 Evo project that Porsche did a couple of years ago, just to demonstrate how fast these cars could go if you didn't follow the rulebook. And sure enough, they broke a lot of lap records even set by Formula 1 cars. And that was definitely it was a good demonstration of the engineering capabilities of many of these teams and car brands behind the LMP1 projects. So this is Victor Miranda once again around the final couple of corners. His time to beat would be 1:43.769. If he wishes to make a position gain, so he will come around the line with a lap time of, well, I think he's not managed to beat his previous lap time, so he continues to sit in second, a provisional second.
Yeah, we'll see if that updates anytime soon. Didn't get that pop up on our screen, but yeah, on board, just seeing exactly how quickly he is racing around the corner here. And it's interesting you mentioned that Porsche project, Weihan, because I always think about racing, especially when it comes to talk about like the FIA balance of power, things like that. It reminds me a lot of the Olympics, right? Because in the Olympics we pick the best athletes, but they're all sort of the balance of power on athletes is just like being a human being, right? But even then we keep leveling up over time. New models of human beings come out there, and it just keeps improving. But what I want to see, okay, hear me out here, Weihan. We get Olympics, but it's like the superhuman Olympics, where we let the athletes take as many performance enhancers as possible just to see truly how high a human being can jump, how fast they can run. That's sort of what that Porsche project reminds me of, where if you strip away all of the rules, all of the regulations, all of the restrictions, you really can make a car go just quite fast. So I really like to see pushing the boundaries. That's why F1 is so popular, right? It is just the pinnacle of speed out there on the racetrack. But just saying, you know, if we didn't have quite as many restrictions, things like LMP1s, LMP2s could really get way up there in speed. You talk about like, EV cars, right? A lot of these cars that are way up the top of the speed settings. Really cool to think about the potential that exists within bodies like these LMP.
Most certainly, and the best part about these LMP1 cars as we come upon to the final moments of qualifying, Victor Miranda must have failed from qualifying. He's probably content with his second position. The great thing about these, committing as a manufacturer going to endurance racing is that a lot of times the technologies that you implement in endurance racing, you can transfer them onto your road-going vehicles, which Porsche absolutely has done with their electric vehicles, for instance. That's something that sometimes in Formula 1 you may face issues with because of the relevance of some of the technologies used. So in some ways you can think of Formula 1 as more relevant to perhaps engineering planes, aerospace engineering, but with these LMP1 cars you are absolutely directly taking technology to transfer them from the racetrack to the road cars, and that's the main draw point of why manufacturers would kind of commit themselves to projects with endurance racing series such as the WEC.
Well, we are closing out our qualifiers, Wehan, and we're just going to take one last lap through with Fabio Zamperlini. He was 20 seconds back, which means basically he hasn't really committed to trying to get a huge time, so this might represent his best option, but I don't think he's going to finish, and indeed he does not. And now currently it's only Kaio and now just Jackson Resende trying to finish their lap times out here and get that qualifying lap. They make it all the way around. We'll get a chance to see exactly how they stack up against each other, and we are looking at coming up on that final stretch of Circuit of the Americas right about now, and we'll see what that time looks like for Jackson, see if he can improve his time by just a little bit, sitting about 3 seconds back of Victor Miranda, and with that time he does not improve, question mark. Well, regardless, we'll get a chance to see what his qualifying time was as we finish up our qualifiers, turn back on our chilled out groove, and get a chance to check out the final standing for qualifying times for our final race today. There you can see one of those very iconic, very tight corners that make Circuit of the Americas so special, so cool as a modern day racetrack. Shout out to our production and our blimp driver for AMX Season 2. Negotiated a new contract where now we have to provide this guy with snacks and a 1-hour lunch break. But he does such a good job piloting the AMX1 blimp. We give him whatever he wants.
So more sights and sounds of the Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix circuit. Of course, we all know that this track came about just 10 years ago, but it's a result of kind of taking some of the most iconic parts of some of the most iconic racetracks in motor racing and kind of putting them together, and that resulted in Cota. So you've got the S's, you've got the tight hairpins, you've got the quadruple apex section towards this final sector, and you've also got a turn one where you feel as though you're taking off in a plane, while you're actually still driving a car on the track. So we have the results of qualifying, and indeed Kyle Gaspar starts from pole with a 1:43.547, and Victor Miranda will be alongside in second position. Jackson Resende, Fabio Zamperlini in second row, and Josh Perway and Diego Villarreal will round out your starting grid of 6 drivers here at Cota.
Yeah, Kyle Gaspar up there with a pretty dominant first position. So while I'm expecting that parts of this race will be very close and competitive, guys like Kyle Gaspar, your driver to watch, he's up there at the top of the standings for total earnings for a reason, right? He's made $819 of his $1,069 total earnings here in Tier 2. This is his playground, it's his sandbox, and if you want to play with the big boys, you have to, I don't know, say the magic password in order to let him, or in order for him to let you come out and see what you can do here. He is absolutely incredibly dominant. And now as our pace car gets us ready for our rolling start here, it's going to be, I guess, what I would consider a very difficult situation when it comes to contesting guys like Kyle Gaspar for that first place off of the standing. A little bit of wiggle, warming up our tires. We get set for a nice, a little bit of a tour, a showcase, a slow lap around Circuit of the Americas to get a lot of this excellent B-roll footage, watching cars go fast and look cool.
Yes, great perspectives of the Porsche machines here. But I'll tell you, Reed, just like the joke from the previous time we covered with Porsche 919s here at Cota, there are 7 Porsches here, with one of them being the safety car. Of course, the safety car will peel in within the next 10 seconds.
9 Porsches, including the one my boss is going to buy me after this broadcast. Right? Right? Okay, well, I didn't hear confirmation, but I think I heard a yes from way down the hallway. So plenty of Porsches out here on the track to Wei Han. I can ask him if you want one. I'm just saying, I'll hook you up.
Well, I think we have the answer in the comment section. Green flag, we're off, and Kyle Gaspar leads this field. They are already into a single file. You just had your negative confirmation there from your boss AMX, so Gaspar continues to lead. Victor Miranda in the first corner. Miranda goes a little bit wide along the apex of turn 1, but everyone else follows suit. We have a Ferrari LMP1 at 919 in the background there, which is kind of interesting to see. Gaspar continues to lead Victor Miranda into the Esther section, and you can just see how the NT has been kind of picked up with these LMP1 cars compared to GT4s just an hour ago in the racing, and already the drivers have settled into the rhythm, and they are going to take this action towards the other side of this Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix circuit. So upon the sharpest hairpin, I think it is the sharpest hairpin on the circuit. Oh, a bit of lockup by Victor Miranda, so he's going to lose 2 positions to the various drivers who've overtaken. And I think good news for you, Reed, so your boss has decided to change his mind.
Oh my goodness, wow. It's so nice. This is the reason I love working for AMX Global. Just really out here. They're here for the players, right, and for the casters, really setting up an ideal work environment, at least from my perspective here, Wei Han. So, if you guys want to come out here and race, you guys can highlight the courses online, and maybe I can share anecdotes from my new AMX course offline, post some of those sweet shots to our social media. And you guys can live vicariously through not only our racers here on screen, but also my sweet life after today's broadcast. So, Kyle Gaspar way up there in the front, no surprise there. But actually, Jackson Resende actually making a huge come up from his qualifying times, sitting in second, 2 seconds ahead of Victor Miranda, who I would have expected to really make a strong contention for that spot. He is only about half a second back, but the middle of the pack is still very competitive. Zamperlini, Josh Berwin, and Victor Miranda way up there, and really making this a very fast, very technical, very competitive middle of the pack as we get 2 laps through our 12 out on Circuit of the Americas.
Well, this track just makes the picture quality look so good, on top of the camera angles that the production team have put together for all of us here. A bit of fender to fender action goes what would appear to be Miranda and Resende, as this is kind of the most contentious battle taking place here at Circuit of the Americas. So along the back stretch, so the longest stretch here on the circuit, it would be a DRS zone for Formula 1 cars, but with the LMP1 cars you don't have DRS, but you do have boost, so some of the drivers might be deploying that. So that was an overtaking move by Miranda to retake his second position, but Resende kind of wants more. So we enter the final sector of the circuit, and this is where you have 2 hairpins back to back, which to me it's kind of the trickiest section of this circuit, because this is kind of in addition to the decreasing radius corners that exist in the first sector of the circuit. before then coming upon this quadruple apex right-hander. It's kind of similar to what you see in the Turkish Grand Prix circuit over in Istanbul. You have quadruple apex left-hander, but this one is turning right instead. Definitely puts a lot of loads on the car driver before coming upon two final left-handers, which are prime overtaking spots before completing a lap here at Circuit of the Americas. Drivers now take on the engine to turn one, and as you can see from the camera angle, if you're in the car, it feels as though you're taking off. But of course, you don't get to like take off and fly as you cross turn one. You have to brake and turn for the corner instead.
Now we have wait until these guys hit that fast and furious NOS button. They're gonna head way up there. I'm so excited for when that gets added next match. I was talking to my dad who owns iRacing, and he says they're gonna put that in really quick. So can't wait. Anyway, it does look like things are settling down as we get to what should be a relatively leisurely trip through the middle of our timeout here on Cota. And a couple seconds between everybody, and we're really just sort of giving our racers their personal space to do what they got to do out here. Diego Villarreal, he's chilling back there in the back, and he's sitting in sixth. But don't forget, guys, the way we do the breakdowns for the point structure means that even though he's sitting in sixth, the paid tier 2 sixth place payout is still $24. So if you get $5 for participating, place sixth, that's $29. So you're still making enough to go buy yourself a Chipotle burrito or whatever your fast food of choice is wherever you are in the world. So mission accomplished for Diego Villarreal. That's all I'm trying to say. Haters will say that he's in last place, but he's going to be laughing all the way to the bank or the McDonald's or wherever he wants to go afterwards. But guys like Kyle Gaspar, he's trying to get that honey. That's slang for $100 prize, first place. Educational as always, Wayhan.
Is that a Texas language or something, Reed?
Hell no. I don't know where that comes from. But it is not from Texas. The only thing from Texas is really flat stuff and cows. And meat also, but also this track.
Yeah, see, talking about flat stuff, you know, what's interesting is Texas is a relatively flat state, but this track is among the top 3 in terms of elevation changes, so, well, you can take that for what you will. You've also got a mullet in the background there, so Reed, I think you can land a helicopter up there or something.
Yeah, see, this is what makes me really excited for our ultimate colonization of Mars, Wayhan. Because you look at the elevation changes in this map, and you see what truly can be done for terraforming, taking a flat state like Texas and adding this much elevation over the course of the development of this track. Very impressive. I can't wait to see what the future looks like. Am I going to be able to go hiking in my home state? Eventually. Future maybe now. I haven't checked in a cool minute, but certainly some elevation changes here. And it really does add to the dynamic nature of this track, dynamic being one of those words like interesting, where as soon as somebody describes you as being it, you know they really don't care. But in this case, it actually does illustrate the ever-changing nature of not only the elevation, but also this quadruple apex section. Now as our racers head on to the back stretch, it is going to be a very, very fast downhill stretch to really showcase some of their their top speeds sitting 144s across the board. Front stretch, I think I said back, but either way, regardless, things are exactly as they were before I started talking, which is to say that no matter what I say, it is completely inconsequential. Nobody's passing anybody way hard.
You know what's the wonderful thing about these Porsche LMP1 cars, these Porsche 990s, is that it's only a 4-cylinder engine, the V4 engine. It's very similar to what some motorbikes use. But already you're getting so much speed out of these cars. Ah, yeah, that's right.
You have to speak my language, right? As an American, I'll measure anything using anything except the metric system. We can measure it in chainsaws, in motorcycles. There's no possible way I'm going to describe my engine in CCs, Wayhan.
Sure. Battle for third position indeed, yeah, of course we do have another perspective of the race lead, but that we're not exactly having too much action. up front as we do here. So we are with Josh Perwin, who's do apologize, battle for 4th position. So Perwin and Zampolini are very close together indeed, and I think within the next couple of moments, because we will be approaching the halfway point of the race relatively soon. So right now, the most important job for Perwin to do is to play mind games with Fabio Zampolini, and we'll see how well Zampolini can resist any potential mind games that may come. Because here at Cota, coming from past experience, you've already got some stress as you're trying to handle. Oh, there seems to be some action happening up front. Oh yeah, the drivers are close together indeed. Miranda is in the race lead, but Gaspar has drawn so close to the race leader. So I think this is where the mind games are the most important.
Yeah, big overtake there. I don't actually know what happened. I think Gaspar made a little bit of a error as he came around that curve and gave up that spot. Victor Miranda in the lead. Very, very exciting to see that happen. I was about to make a joke about how we were watching the battle for first, but it wasn't really a battle. And then all of a sudden, everything changed. So really cool to see things changing so, what was that word dynamically. There you go. That word you can use to describe anything that happens anywhere. Let's take a look at exactly what happened, because I was too busy watching the battle for 4th. 20 battles going on here, and let's see what happened at the front of the pack. Looks like there they go, coming around the corner, and maybe just a little bit of a lack of respect. You know, for cars that look exactly the same, it seems like one does have that NOS that Gad is about to add to the game. Very impressive overtake there to take not just a little bit, but a lot of a lead there at the top of the standings. Really, really well played there by Miranda, who puts almost a second between him and the former race leader, Kyle Gaspar.
Well, yeah, certainly, so great move by Miranda to take the race lead. And he's already drawn himself 8/10 of a second gap ahead of Gaspar. So as this continues on, it will be kind of up to Gaspar to retake his race lead. But he does have to play his cards well with the next couple of laps. So we have crossed the midpoint of the race here at Cota, and you can just kind of see with now the drivers have made their way around turn 1, and we're now riding on board with Miranda. You can kind of see that with these LMP1 cars, another added challenge with racing prototypes in general is that you have quite a restricted field of view because your A pillars are kind of in the way. And there are some things that sometimes it's difficult to look into the apexes of corners. So that in itself is already a challenge for these drivers, quite constricted. So it's unlike GT cars where you have wide windscreens, or Formula cars where you don't have anything at all blocking your field of vision. But nonetheless, drivers are still handling this car exceptionally well. You can kind of see them taking on the car absolutely well here at Cota. And we're now back with Perwin as he continues on his pursuit of 4th position with Zampolini currently up there.
Still really fast times being set by all of our racers as they head around. So sort of the first box you have to check off is, can I race really fast, right? Regardless of who you are challenging, who's in your way, you have to be able to have that consistency, get around the track as quickly as possible. And on Cota, very technical track, stresses a lot of those core competencies of racing. So for guys like Josh Perwin, he is doing a great job so far, but he does need to close that gap soon. We are closing things out here, lap 7, 12, over halfway, and now lap 8 coming through as we head through the final quarter of our race. Josh Perwin has the potential. He's in a decent spot, but needs to keep things close, looking for those opportunities, seeing if there's another one of those overtake spots like we saw between Victor Miranda and Kyle Gaspar. Now a 1.3 second difference at the front, whereas Gaspar used to lead by just about that same amount. So anything can happen, anything can change. We've got the last quarter of the race left to play to see if guys like Josh Perwin, who we are on board with right now, will be able to make that happen.
Is Perwin giving Zampolini a good run for his money? We continue to observe him racing as I think he's got 8 seconds of a gap between himself and the driver in front, so that is something that he'll have to close in on over the next few moments indeed. So okay, going taking this hairpin, turn 11 hairpin absolutely well indeed. We're now back with Gaspar in fact, and it seems that Miranda has cleared Gaspar by quite a fair margin, and Gaspar continues to sit in second, albeit with a 2-second gap behind the race leader.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I could win from this point, Weihan, but you know, it would be close. It would be close. If I got out and I pushed my car across the finish line, I might still beat Kyle Gaspar if I was in Victor Miranda's spot. But once again, a close competitive race, that's what we're looking for here. And currently, we're on board with the closest, the most competitive. Josh Berwin is really putting the pedal to the metal as he seeks to overtake Zamperlini. It's not looking like soon, but the potential is there, and that's what we're looking for coming through the front straightaway towards our 10th lap. As we really get towards that end, you really have to make moves now to set up for an eventual overtake. It takes strategy, planning, and a lot of that consistency we were talking about earlier. On board with Zamperlini, continuing to look back in his rearview mirror, really having to see, okay, well, what does he have to worry about? What, you know, where is Josh? Is he falling back? Is he getting closer? And it looks like currently he is not. It's a good feeling for Zamperlini, but still a lot of pressure there back to the back in that battle for fourth.
Yep, certainly a lot of pressure indeed. So certainly Perwin's job now is to try to get within the rear view mirror of Zamperlini, because sometimes if you play your mind games well, you can sometimes trick the other driver into letting you by letting you overtake. And I think, you know, for drivers from my experience, that's a trick that they will try in endurance racing. But of course, here in a 12-lap sprint race, it's all about kind of pushing your car to the limit, and that's what all the drivers are doing here at Cota. So Perwin continues. If we do have a look at some of the lap time comparisons off the back of the live timing, Perwin set a faster lap time than Zamperlini did the last time, but Perwin has also got a faster best lap than Zamperlini. So that does mean that Perwin has the opportunity to, at the very least, get close to Zamperlini before then kind of thinking of an overtaking move as they come upon the final sectors of Circuit of the Americas once again to start lap 10 here at Cota.
Yep, checking everything out. For the most part, we're going to be following Josh Perwin and Fabio Zamperlini. Probably won't be taking a look at Diego Villarreal. He's thinking about what he's going to make his McDonald's order after the race with his winnings from today. Always nice to see Josh Perwin fans out there who are really enthusiastic as they are hoping for perhaps the only final remaining hope for any sort of action here on our track. But as you can see far away in the distance, it may be a while before Josh Perwin can make this eventual, hopeful, theoretical overtake happen. Our hopes and dreams for any action rest in his hands.
Yes, come on, Perwin, you can do this, you can do this.
Wait, if I'm a Josh Perwin fan, does that mean that they'll show me on the screen?
I wonder.
Exactly. I think that might be as likely as getting my Porsche after the show.
Well, it would appear that Villarreal also, just a quick mention, looking at Villarreal race there, and there you go.
Ever thankful of more opportunities to be on camera, so a huge shout out to him. You definitely didn't catch me about to stuff a huge donut into my face during that. That's what I do when I cast. Every time I toss it over to Weihan, I'm like, okay, time to pull out my New York style deep dish pizza. But I know that I'm going to have another little bit of time to be hidden here behind the scenes, unless they pick me up there on screen. A little bit of a wide track there set by Josh Perwin as he is taking the widest possible angles around these turns. But look at those apex. Oh, the curves, the canes. It's so amazing. Wow, but I'm trying to say anything I can about the way Josh is driving here. But realistically, the pressure, not high.
Yeah, well, the pressure is on Miranda, on the other hand, would be... I can't say it's too high, I guess. I wouldn't know, but you know, if you're in the race lead, you have a big margin, like beyond 6 seconds. You know, there's a bit of solace that you kind of have, because you know that you are in quite a safe position from any overtaking moves, which could be the case for Miranda, as he is in fact just under 6 seconds now ahead of Kyle Gaspar. Both drivers fought quite hard during the earlier segments of the race. As we come towards the final 2 laps here at Cota, I think it will be for Miranda to continue maintaining his gap ahead of Gaspar. But Gaspar seems to be closing that quite well, and we'll see how this unfolds over the next couple of moments. I think every driver has kind of spaced themselves out by quite a fair bit as white flag comes flying into the air, and we will be down to our final lap here at Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, something really significant that I was noticing there for Kyle Gaspar when they were showing his lap times is that his current lap is about 5 seconds slower than his fastest lap. And he's only 4.5 behind Victor Miranda. So, if I do my math correctly, anything is possible. It just shows the amount of gymnastics we have to do as commentators to tell our viewers that anything can happen and our racers are 5 seconds apart. I'm trying to do my job. The commentary police are going to come get me if at any point I say that anybody can win, right? So currently, Diego Villarreal is very confident that he will not be winning this race. He is out of there. And as our white flag waves, we are setting up for our final back and forth. Our apex is coming our way as we hit the second half. The final half of our race, lap 12 of 12, it's looking like Victor Miranda, even though he lost about 2 seconds of his lead over Kyle Gaspar, still looking pretty good.
Well, I think it's been a great showing for all the drivers, and well, the thing with racing is that there can only be one winner, and the driver who's managed to make the win go to his advantage. Here at day 23 of the Tier 2 series here at AMX Global Beta Season 2. Victor Miranda will come around, round off the final quarters and come across the start-finish line first here at Circuit of the Americas, with Kyle Gaspar has managed to close the gap up to 3.8 seconds, but still sitting in second. He comes home in second, with Jackson Resenji making it home in third. Fabio Zampellini and Josh Pobin will round off your race finishers in 4th and 5th, with Villarreal, who will make it in 6th. On the standings. So, well, it has been quite a morning of racing here at Circuit of the Americas with these amazing LMP1 machines, and I am definitely keen to kind of see more racing action. But certainly with the performance of these drivers here, I think they've done an exceptional job having these LMP1 machines here around Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, how often, how many times how frequently can we say Circuit of the Americas at LMP1's way on? I think we're really hitting those upper bounds. Victor Miranda, Kyle Gaspar, Jackson Resenji, Fabio Zamperlini, Josh and Diego Villarreal. My legal obligation to read their names at the end of the show is done. Oh, I'm free. I'm like a genie when I give my third wish out, Weihan. And actually, I do have to disagree with you. I think you've made a grave mistake, Weihan. In your short-sightedness, you saw it. We can only have one winner here today, when in fact, the true winner of every day of racing at AMX Race, the fan, right? And a huge thanks to everyone out there who tuned in for all of our races and tolerated Weihan and I as we guided you through our action on Zolder and Circuit of the Americas. A really good way to hit the exact midpoint, the solstice of AMX Season 2. It's been really cool to see so many races, so many racers, so many cool combinations of cars and tracks out there this season. And we've got 45 more races to go, 44 after today. So that means there's plenty of time for you two to get out there and join us. Double the prize pool for our free tier races, and that means now is better than ever to go ahead and head over to amxrace.com, sign up for our races, and get your chunk of that $16,000 prize pool that we have for races this season. You can do so by heading over to amxrace.com. You can also check out any of our new information, promotions, and all of the above on our social media. Right down below the stream, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and everywhere else out there. AMX Global, place to be. So congratulations on making the best choice, the way to spend your last 2 hours. We'll be back here in 24 hours or so for our next and final races this week. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. On behalf of everyone else here at AMX Global, we'll see you next time.